At the Los Angeles International Airport, late one night, a jetliner sits on the tarmac, moments away from takeoff. Alex, a tough-looking woman in her early 30s, puts her luggage in the overhead compartment and takes her seat as the flight attendant comes past.
Please take your seats. If you're standing, we can't fly. Thank you.
Alex carefully surveys the situation. Around her are strangers. She sits next to a suited man. Across the aisle are a married couple, and behind her are a teenage boy texting and an older lady who's begun to knit. In front of her, a man in a striped polo stares longingly out the window, as the trench coat-wearing man beside him looks around just as suspiciously as Alex. Alex looks back to the boy and her expression softens as he frantically types and glances out the window. The plane begins to take off. The woman sitting beside the boy looks forward nervously.
Lord Jesus, thy name be praised.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, sweetie. Everything is gonna be okay, Jake.
Did you talk to Dad?
He will be there when you land in the morning, and I'll get there tomorrow, worst case. As Jake speaks to his mother, the man across the aisle from Alex stands up and gets in Deirdre, the flight attendant's face.
Hey, are we actually taking off?
We're just waiting on clearance. Please sit down.
Really? 'Cause this news alert I just got says they've grounded all flights.
Everyone looks over at him in terror.
We will take off. Take your seat, please.
Sit down, Marcus. Please, honey, just sit down.
Jake, are you still there?
Yeah, Mom. Are they grounding flights?
I don't know, baby, but I can drive if I have to. I'll get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Flight 462.
Hey, Mom, I think I gotta hang up.
Okay, try to get some rest. Alright?
Hey, what was that?
Jake quickly turns and presses his face against the window to see what's going on. It's nothing, baby. Someone's just upset. Try to sleep, okay?
No.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Mom, hey, Mom.
I love you.
Mom,
I love you. As the phone call is cut off, Alex stands up, turns around, and slams the window cover down, then sits back in her seat calmly. Jake just stares at her, confused, as Flight 462 takes to the skies. This is Fear the Walking Dead, the radio drama, Flight 462. This episode was sourced from the web series, directed by Michael McDonough, and written by Lauren Signorino and Michael Zunick. A few minutes later, Jake annoyedly uncovers the window and gets his phone back out, frantically texting his mother to see if she's okay. Across the aisle, Marcus begins vomiting into a paper bag. His wife, Suzanne, comforts him.
Oh, honey.
Alex squints and glances over at Marcus suspiciously, then turns back to look at Jake behind her, again lightening her expression. He frowns and looks down at his phone, realizing the text did not go through.
No.
He sits back and disappointedly stares out the window as they fly past the city, still full of light. A little later, Deirdre rolls her cart down the aisles and stops by Suzanne and Marcus.
Something to drink?
Vodka. Rocks.
Deirdre nods and hands her a cup of ice. Then Suzanne gives her husband a side eye to make sure he doesn't see, and mouths, "2," as she holds up 2 fingers. Deirdre grins and hands her 2 small bottles of vodka. Marcus sits quietly, squeezing his eyes closed as if in pain. Across the aisle, Connie, the woman sitting beside Jake, looks up from her knitting and over at Jake.
You all alone?
My mom and I were on standby. They only had room for one more, so she'll get on the next flight.
Alex shifts uncomfortably in her seat as she listens to Jake's story.
Yes, she will. You believe that. Be somebody to catch you when we get to Phoenix?
Yeah, my dad's waiting for us. He just moved out there for work.
Deirdre continues down the aisle and gets to the man wearing a trench coat in front of Alex's seat. Deirdre stops, places 2 cans of ginger ale on his tray, and moves on, without either one saying a word. About an hour later, anyone who'd managed to get to sleep is woken up by the sound of Marcus retching once again.
Move it!
Oh, God.
Marcus stumbles out of his seat and runs down the aisle, slamming the bathroom door behind him. Everyone watches, concerned. Alex stands up and glares at Suzanne.
It's the reflux.
How long has your husband been sick?
I told you, he's not sick. It's reflux. His whole side of the family.
Doesn't seem like indigestion.
Are you a doctor? No. Mind your own goddamn business.
Alex continues to glare at Suzanne, then turns and looks at Jake, who looks terrified.
Hey, you think it's the flu that's been going around?
Alex's eyes widen, but she says nothing and sits back down. After some time goes by and Marcus has not yet returned from the bathroom, Suzanne goes back to check on him. She finds Connie standing uncomfortably outside the door, and Deirdre preparing to make an announcement.
As we prepare for our initial descent into Phoenix, the captain asks that you return to your seats and please make sure your seatbelts are securely fastened. Please return your tray tables and seats back to their full upright position. Thank you.
As she finishes, Deirdre feels Connie nervously tap on her shoulder.
May I please tinkle in first class? That man is still in there.
Deirdre turns and grabs Suzanne by the shoulders to get access to the bathroom door.
Sir, we're landing. You need to come out. Sir.
As Deirdre knocks on the bathroom door, Alex and the man in the trench coat both
Sir?
look back with concern. Jake, who's been staring out the window,
You
sees a
cannot
chunk of lights in
remain
the
in
city
the
black out
laboratory
all at
during
once,
landing.
and looks over at Alex, mouth agape as the
Sir?
whole city begins to black out.
The lights went out. Did you see that?
Alex says nothing, slowly unbuckling her seatbelt and standing up.
Hey, look, it was like just there, and then...
We're about to land. You need to take your seat.
Marcus, honey, what's wrong? Oh my God, we need to get him out of there.
It's not safe for you to be here. Step back, please.
Alex and the man in the trench coat both get up and walk to the back of the plane.
Open the door, please.
Don't open it.
Whoa. Hold on.
Don't open it.
Despite Alex's plea, the trenchcoat man holds her back, and Deirdre unlocks the bathroom door. Marcus limply falls out and onto the ground.
Oh,
Sir!
oh God. Oh my God, Marcus.
They shake him a few times, but he won't wake up. The man in the trench coat begins performing CPR. Deirdre tries to get a hold of the captain, but he begins his own announcement.
Folks, this is your captain speaking. Sorry to report that Phoenix is experiencing a power failure, so we're going to have to reroute to LAX at this time.
No, tell him we have to land right now. My husband needs a doctor, please.
Alex stands at the front of a group of bystanders and pushes past a man wearing a flannel and jeans to get to Marcus.
Do you feel a pulse?
Oh no. Oh honey, wake up.
Ma'am, I need you to move.
No.
Deirdre looks to the trenchcoat man and nods to Suzanne. Yeah, here. I'll take her. Ma'am, just sit right
No.
here. Deirdre gets out the AED and continues performing CPR. Alex is having none of it.
Stay away. No, I said stay away.
Alex pulls open Marcus's dress shirt to reveal a large, bandaged wound on his left side. Alex pulls away the bandage and reveals a bloody mess. Unmistakably, a bite wound. Everyone looks on, confused.
You need to tie him down. Right now.
What is wrong with you? Oh, Marcus, wake up.
Ignoring her, Deirdre opens up the AED. Alex tries to stop her.
Stop!
Hey. The trenchcoat man pulls Alex to the side and pulls his coat open to reveal a pistol. I'm Anthony Turner, U.S. Air Marshal. You need to return to your
You
seat.
don't understand.
Anthony grabs her by the arms and holds her back as she tries to get to Marcus. Take your seat.
It's dangerous.
Take your seat now. All of you, sit down. The crowd complies, returning to their seats, as Deirdre prepares to shock Marcus's heart.
Clear. Clear.
After the second shock, Marcus's eyes shoot open, but they're glazed over and empty. Marcus jumps up after a moment and grabs Suzanne's leg, pulling himself up to a standing position.
Don't let him bite you!
Deirdre pushes herself into a corner as Suzanne is rescued by Anthony, who grabs Marcus, restraining him. Get out of here! Get out of here! Anyone who hadn't returned to their seats does so now, save for Jake, who watches the scene in horror.
Here! Get him in here!
Deirdre pulls the bathroom door wide open, and Anthony pushes Marcus in, but he's not cooperating.
Get him in!
Anthony shoves and kicks until Marcus is inside of the bathroom. Alex pushes from one side as Deirdre pulls from the other, and they get the door shut. Alex and Deirdre put their arms across the door as Alex slides to the floor, and everyone catches their breath. Suddenly, Alex notices some blood on her arm and her eyes widen in horror. However, as she wipes it away, she realizes it's not hers, and she looks up to see Deirdre's arm with a huge scratch wound on it, dripping blood down.
Oh my god.
Alex stands up and defensively steps back, then walks over to Anthony and speaks softly.
Tie her down. Now. Do you believe me now?
Anthony shakes his head and grabs a first aid kit. She's hurt. We have to help her.
Tie her down, then help her. What happened to him will happen to her.
Not happening. Come on, Deirdre. Let's have a seat. Here, right here. They're suddenly all shaken by some turbulence, and Alex storms over to Deirdre as Anthony begins cleaning and bandaging her arm.
We have to land the plane. Tell the captain.
Alex grabs the phone off the wall and shoves it toward her. Deirdre gives her a dark look and shakes her head.
We've been trying, but it's not just Phoenix. The lights are going out everywhere. There's nowhere left to land.
Jake, still standing by, hears this and looks at Alex, terrified. All she can do is frown and look away. A little later, Alex has sat down near Jake to catch her breath and collect her thoughts.
How did you know?
Over by the bathroom door, Anthony comforts Suzanne, who sits nearby listening to Marcus bang against the door. Come on, let's go.
I just want to see my husband.
Ma'am, your husband is sick.
So help him!
Alex steps forward, eyeing Suzanne suspiciously.
There's nothing we can do.
Suzanne slowly moves her hand toward the latch.
Just let me tell him that I love him, that I'm here.
No,
Let
stop!
Instead of stopping Suzanne, Anthony grabs Alex's arm and takes her to the side.
Marcus? It's me, baby. I love you.
Anthony begins to push back the bystanders once more, urging them to take a seat as Alex, Jake, and Deirdre watch Suzanne tap on the door to the bathroom.
I don't hear anything anymore. Marcus?
No!
Alex rushes back to stop her, but Suzanne shoves her away.
He's dead!
It's no use. Suzanne has just enough time to open the door before Alex can get back, unleashing the infected Marcus back into the plane. He immediately tackles Suzanne and bites a huge chunk out of her neck. Jake, Alex, and Deirdre watch helplessly as Anthony sprints back to them.
Move. Jake, get back,
Move.
Now!
Anthony gets back and fires 3 rounds straight into Marcus's chest. But it has absolutely no effect other than getting his attention.
Everybody stay back.
Anthony, himself clearly terrified now, steps back as Marcus limbers toward him down the aisle, firing another 4 rounds into his chest, again with no effect, and Marcus tackles him to the ground. Anthony blindly shoots another 3 shots as he falls to the ground, struggling with Marcus.
The head! Shoot him in the head!
Anthony nods and brings his gun up to Marcus's head. Shit! But he's out of ammo.
I got you!
Alex jumps up and leaps over some seats to get behind Marcus, then pulls him off of Anthony. They both fall to the ground and Marcus crawls after her, grabbing her feet as she crawls away. Jake then jumps to action, grabbing a knitting needle from Connie's bag and climbing over the seats to get past Marcus.
Alex, here.
She doesn't hesitate and jams the needle straight into the back of Marcus's skull with all of her might, and he finally dies. Everyone takes another moment to catch their breath. only to see that one of Anthony's stray bullets cracked a window nearby. The window holds for now, so everyone remains slumped on the ground, recovering from the fight. Deirdre remains seated, as Suzanne leans against her legs, bleeding out from her bitten neck. Alex looks at Suzanne, who's barely breathing, then sadly glances over to Jake. Then, without hesitation, she scowls and jams the knitting needle into Suzanne's skull as well. Everyone is taken aback.
Oh my god! You killed her!
Alex shakes her head and looks up at Anthony.
No! I saved her!
They all sit there, unsure of what to do next, when the window finally shatters. As the cabin begins to depressurize, Alex grabs Jake and leads him away.
Get to a seat!
She holds the terrified boy in her arms until the oxygen masks drop from the ceiling. We see the others safely in their seats, putting on their own masks. Alex puts one on Jake, then looks down guiltily.
I'm sorry.
Jake looks at her, confused.
I got the last seat. I got your mom's seat. I'm sorry. You should be with her.
She's probably with my dad right now.
And you'll be there soon. I promise.
Alex covers up the nearby windows and lets out a tear. She puts her mask on, then she holds Jake's hands, both unable to do anything to change their fate. Back on the ground, in a familiar scene, Nick Clark sneaks around the neighborhood looking for drugs. As he hides from the passing National Guardsmen, he looks up in the sky and sees Flight 462 flying very low, maneuvering its way back toward the city. Holy shit! With the guard finally passing by, Nick runs out into the street for a better view. As the plane flies past overhead and toward the ocean, it suddenly takes a sharp turn to the south, and Nick loses sight of the doomed plane. This has been Fear the Walking Dead, the radio drama, Flight 462. This episode was sourced from the web series directed by Michael McDonough and written by Lauren Signorino and Michael Zunick. This production was brought to you by Parker, director, editor, and writer, and Tate, assistant director, casting director, enforcer, wizard, and thumbnail artist. This episode starred Cake as Alex, Knox as Jake, Cathy as Deirdre, Hope as Suzanne, Deadface as Marcus, and Parker as the narrator and Anthony. Our supporting cast from this episode includes Tate as Connie, Parker as Jake's mom and Nick Clark, and Max as the captain. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like and a comment, and make sure to subscribe to hear our next projects. Also, check out our Discord link in the description to come chat with us or even join the cast of the radio drama yourself. So, there you have it. The story behind that airplane Nick saw flying overhead in episode 3. Will we ever see Alex, Jake, Deirdre, and Anthony again? I'll never tell. I've always enjoyed the story of Flight 462 and how little things like this were created to make Fear such an incredibly rich piece of the Walking Dead universe, but it's so hard to find it anymore nearly 9 years after it was released. The original release was split into 16 very short webisodes that came out weekly during Season 6 of The Walking Dead, but I've always wanted a good quality, full telling of this story, and this might actually be the best version out there. I'm so glad that we were able to get this out to you guys ahead of Season 2. There's a whole lot more coming from us that will expand the Fear universe beyond even what we've seen from AMC. Thanks again, and tune in next time.